So my advice to anyone tackling Shakespeare for the first time is just don't feel scared. Don't put Shakespeare on a pedestal. It's really important to remember that he was effectively the TV producer of Suits or Orange is the New Black of his time. These plays were for everyone, and he had to write to appeal to the groundlings who were just, the poor people who were coming in and standing there and booing and pissing on the ground as they're watching and so on, as much as those in the middle class or upper classes who are sitting up on the tiered seating. Which means that you get this fabulous mix of the dirty jokes next to the uplifting passages that make us recognise, how important love is or whatever. So he's appealing to everyone. And the plots, therefore, are really engaging and fun. Don't be fearful of them. It's just the language may be a little alienating initially, but in the end, he's not some amazing chap that we should be putting on a pedestal. He's there to entertain us, and he does it well.
Concentrate on those things you are enjoying, those things you do like, and don't get worried about the rest of it, because those things will come later if you're enjoying it and getting on Shakespeare's wavelength.
Yeah, I guess my advice to any students studying or teaching Shakespeare today would be, as a teacher, just be yourself when you go into the classroom. Don't feel you have to sort of put on a Shakespeare persona and pretend to like something that might be new to you. And you think of his characters, they're all deeply flawed, and I think that's what makes them so interesting. And we're all, flawed ourselves, and that's I think, a big attraction to his plays, the idea that his characters are so interesting in that aspect. And for those students who are studying it, I think don't give up at the first reading, persist with it and keep drilling down into it. And if you're a teacher of it, know the language, know what it's about, and then you'll feel a great sense of reward and achievement bringing it to life to students in the classroom.
Sometimes those who encounter Shakespeare for the first time become obsessed with trying to understand every single word, every single individual word, and they throw their arms up and go, I can't understand it, therefore, no, I don't want it. What I encourage those people to do are a couple of things. One, don't worry if you can't understand every word. Just get the gist, get the feel of the passage. Is that person depressed? Is that person upset? Can you tell that from some of the language, some of the sounds of the words, that sort of thing? Another thing that I encourage those who encounter Shakespeare for the first time is don't stop at the end of each line. Stop at the punctuation marks, and that'll help you with the flow of the text, and that'll help with the understanding of the words as well.
Well, my advice to somebody either teaching Shakespeare or as a student experiencing it for the first time would be to let them know it's hard. It is a challenge, and I think if you don't appreciate that from the outset, you're not necessarily going to push through what seem to be the barriers, but it's worth it. And to share that message beforehand, and whether you're teaching it, because getting students involved sometimes is challenging, or reading it and really spending the time to understand that that's normal and that it is hard, I think drives you on to succeed.
And I think also if you present it in a very accessible form, and there are so many sources that are available at the moment. For example, you can go onto YouTube and you can actually see the plots of the plays presented by other students. One of my particular favourites is the Duplo versions of Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet. And if you hook your students in right from the outset, then you've got them for the rest of the unit of study. And if they understand the plot, then I think that makes it a little bit easier for them to then interrogate and understand the language and then those devices that Shakespeare uses.